Is it okay for people to stand in between the flags instead of all the way back there? No, not if they don't stand in front of it.
You're not gonna sit down. Just go.
It's too deep. It's too deep.
So we're not all in the spot.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Oh my God. As we get ready to start, you all can drip right into the grass. It's okay to stand in the where the flags are, as long as you're not in front of this camera. Yep, just not as long as you're in front of this camera. Feel free to float in.
Okay, we're on.
Okay, we're good. Let's cook some grease. Hello, my name is. Hello, my name is Angela Evans, and I am Turnaround's Manager of Community Engagement. And I'd like to welcome you to Turnaround's
2022 Take Back the Night. It feels really amazing to be in person. It's a powerful thing, really, and to join the community, to stand next to one another, and to share a little time with each other. We're here tonight for Take Back the Night, which really originated in the 70s in order to combat issues of sexual violence in major U.S. cities. As we gather together tonight in allyship and support of survivors of sexual assault, while uplifting the voices of survivors of intimate partner violence as well as human trafficking as well, I'd like for you all to remember that our voices are our strength. It is to our power. We have the ability to do great things with film. Nights like tonight lead with hope. The hope that when folks are ready, they use their voices, they share their stories, they create and gain confidence, they hold space like the one we're all a part of right now. We spread awareness and hope folks know that we are not alone. I'd like to thank and acknowledge every turnaround member present and those who could not make it tonight. It is an honor to do this work with you all. Your daily contributions are invaluable. Thank you for your voice and commitment. Lastly, I'd like to welcome our courageous, dedicated, leading voice of Turnaround, our Executive Director, Amanda Rodriguez.
Thank you, Angeles. Survivors who fight every day to be treated with empathy, who fight to change broken systems that allow for abuse to continue or happen in the first place, or fight just to be heard. We hear you tonight, and we see you tonight. Through your art, your passion, your truth-telling, you can ignite what was and create what can be. And we at Turnaround stand beside you. For 2 years, we've taken back the web and stood together in the face of a global pandemic and said, you cannot silence us. But tonight, we take back the night again. The survivor's journey can be one of incredible pain and also incredible triumph. But a survivorship is not a scarlet letter that you wear. You can remove the stigma and shame associated with sexual violence by having events like this one tonight. Standing together to acknowledge pain, but also celebrating the community of those that have endured. One of the guiding principles that we often hear in this work is that we need to normalize abuse, which I understand in principle. 1 in 3 suffer abuse. We had this exercise when I went to law school where they said, look to the right of you, I always do this the wrong way. Look to the right of you, look to the left of you, that is backwards. Look to the right of you, look to the left of you, because 1 of the 3 of you are not going to get all the way through this education. You could do a familiar or this similar exercise with sexual violence or abuse as well, because 1 in 3 suffer this type of abuse. But nothing about sexual violence is normal. I remember sitting across the room from an 11-year-old who had been sexually abused. He pulled his hoodie up for his head, he looked at his feet, and I asked him to trust me. I met with him 3 times, and he never spoke a word to me. We sat in silence, not even his name. Nothing about this is normal. We don't have to normalize or stigmatize our experiences anymore. We can speak and shout and sing. And Take Back the Night is about survivor voices, the voices that may never be heard, the voices of those here tonight, and the voices of those that put that path forward for us. So you, trailblazer, system changer, artist, poet, hope finder, and empathizer, for all of my turnaround team, the moments may still live with you of pain or of hurt. They do not define you. Your voices will be the ones that will elevate this moment of change. One of those voices that I am thrilled to have the great, humbling honor to introduce is an incredible partner and advocate, Angela Denise Wharton. Angela is the visionary founder and CEO of Phoenix Ministries, a Christian-based nonprofit that provides tools and support required for survivors of sexual assault. Angela embodies the immortality of the Phoenix. That's such an easy thing to say because she is really an incredible person. Services of her ministry include a sexual assault support group for women, a prayer call, crisis line, counseling and referral services, and a survivor engagement program. She's also the pioneer in a crusade to eliminate the mishandling of forensic evidence related to sex-based crimes. Her message of hope and healing has reached thousands through social media campaigns, radio appearances, and partnerships with sexual assault and domestic violence agencies. She also has authored 5 publications, including a best-selling novel, Life After Silence, From Pain to Power to Purpose. Her captivating messages remove the veil of secrecy, shame, and public oblivion by disseminating awareness and encouraging victims of sexual assault to speak out and seek justice. Angela, where are you? Thank you so much for being here this evening. It is so good to see you.
I am the face of bravery, of strength, and of power. I am Angela D Wharton, and I am a survivor of sexual violence who no longer sits in her story, but I now use my voice to amplify my story. I want to take a moment to thank Turnaround and Angeles and Medina and everyone from Turnaround who put this amazing event together. I'm so honored to be here. You know, there was a time when I couldn't use my voice for anything because I had been silenced by sexual assault at the age of 14 and by rape at the age of 24. But thanks be unto God and my support system and Turnaround for helping me find my voice. Yes, I was with Turnaround in 1996. I don't know if you all out here remember me, but I was there in 1996. Now, how many know that there's power in your voice? By show of hands. There's power in your voice. And so it can be your superpower to bring about change and to bring about hope in a difficult time. So we know that with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, they've been very instrumental in bringing awareness to sexual assault and sexual violence. Because every time a survivor speaks up, they empower another survivor to speak up. And how many know that there is strength in numbers? Sometimes it can take years for a survivor to find his or her voice. We must continue to uplift the voices of those who are brave enough to speak their truth, because otherwise it could allow them to retreat back into silence. And that could be very detrimental to their healing process, and we don't want that. Now, there are so many ways that we can use our voice, but one way that I've learned to use my voice is through legislative advocacy for the benefit of survivors. So in 2012, our current state's attorney, Ms. Marilyn Mosby, sought Phoenix Ministries to be the face of the Repeat Sexual Predator Prevention Act. And so for 5 years straight, we went to Annapolis and we shared our stories. We used our voices to affect change. And then in 2018, the bill was passed and the law was signed by Governor Hogan. And if I may give a quick shout out to Miss Tamara McCain, who's here, and she was one of the Phoenix Ministry survivors who shared her testimony as well. And so you may be asking, what is the Repeat Sexual Predator Prevention Act? Well, this act will allow the past bad acts and convictions of a predator or defendant to be admissible in his or her, because women are predators as well, in his or her current court case. In the event that the defendant is saying that the survivor is lying or that it didn't happen, we can now bring that information into the current court case, which will give survivors a better chance at justice. And then let's fast forward to 2018, where I found out that the Baltimore City Police Department destroyed all of my rape evidence, including my untested rape kit. I was devastated. I was angry. It sent me into a deep depression. But you know what? God put fight in me. But because even though I was going through this tough time in my life, I knew that I had to fight for others. And so I was connected to the Attorney General's office, and they were actually introducing a bill called the Mandatory Rape Kit Testing Bill here in the state of Maryland. And so I was able to go to Annapolis again and share my testimony, this part of my story, to support this bill. And when I tell you all that that testimony came out of me like fire, it did, because I saw this as my day in court. It wouldn't be a traditional day for me, but standing up for survivors in Annapolis, sharing my testimony was my day in court. And you know what? The bill was passed and signed into law by Governor Hogan. So the mandatory rape kit testing bill makes it mandatory to test rape kits in the state of Maryland in a timely manner. They can no longer destroy them unless the survivor says that he or she does not want to test it, or after the investigation is deemed to not be a rape. If I can use my voice to affect change, you can as well. We have to amplify our voices. So you may be thinking, well, what can I do to uplift the voices of survivors? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can believe us, you can support us, and you can stand with us. Because in a world where sexual trauma silences us survivors, it is imperative that we use the power of our voices to affect positive change for survivors, not only here in the United States, but all over the world, because sexual violence happens all over the world. Our voices are our oxygen in a world where society and rape culture won't let us breathe. It won't let us breathe. And so as I close, I would ask that all survivors who are watching us online, if you could just stand up. And those of us who are here that are sitting, that are survivors, I would ask that you stand up and repeat after me. I am a survivor, not a victim. My life matters. My story matters. My voice matters. I will no longer be afraid to use the power of my voice to make this world a better place for all of us. Thank you, and many blessings of wholeness and healing for each and every one of you. Thank you.
Angela, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for those powerful, empowering words. Again, we really want to emphasize that we are holding space tonight to uplift the voices of survivors. And Angela, you really represented survivors so well. I want to take a moment. I acknowledge our turnaround team who's present and those who weren't able to make it a little earlier. I also want to acknowledge Bella Owens, our sitting board president. Right, everybody can give Bella a round of applause. Thank you, Bella, for joining us tonight. I want to now bring Annie Smith, one of our outreach advocates in our community engagement department, and Meredith Perkle, our volunteer coordinator, and they are going to do some gifts of acknowledgement and tell you a little bit more about our volunteerism opportunities.
Hey everyone, my name is Meredith, and I have the distinct pleasure of being the volunteer coordinator at Turnaround. And I wanted to take a quick moment before we get to the special portion here to just thank our volunteers for their support in executing our Take Back the Night this year. I always say that we have the best volunteers on Team Turnaround, and I mean it because it's true. Our volunteers are so passionate and dedicated. They come from all walks of life, but they're all united in their commitment to our mission. They support us to consistently provide the full suite of services that we offer to our clients. So if you are also dedicated to our mission and you think you might want to join us, we would love to have you. So you can learn more and fill out a volunteer application on our website under the Get Involved tab, and you can always send me an email. So now I'm going to turn over to Annie, who is going to be doing a little special acknowledgement for a couple of our supporters. Annie?
Thanks, Meredith. So we've just got a couple quick tokens of appreciation for a few of our supporters who came out today to help make this event a success and make it special. You guys are the reason that we're here. So, without further ado, a little bit. Okay. Aaron Smith. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. Round of applause for Aaron. Thank you. Alrighty, and Ryan Plunkett. Come on up. We've got a journal for you, Ryan. And TGI Fridays. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you for your support. And next, we're going to have Rachel. She's going to be leading us in a moment of silence. No. No. Next, we're going to have Omnia Azar. Am I saying that right?
Thank you so much, Annie and Meredith. They are adorable, aren't they? Classic duo there. Appreciate you all. But Annie is right. We are going to have Amia Azar joining us next. She's going to be our musical performance. I'd like to note that Amia is a friend of mine, but also a true talent and has an incredible stage presence that commands attention. She is an award-winning singer, songwriter, and musician. Amia has taken the stage amongst artists such as Navasha Daya, Zai Zakar, Chico DeBarge, Dwale, KRS-One, for those in the back, Method Man, and more. Her works have been featured in magazines, commercials, most recently 2 Maryland Film Festival selections. Amia considers herself and her music to be a vessel for healing, of her own and for others. Please join me in welcoming Amnia Azar.
Thank you so much, Andy. And thank you to everyone that turned around. I haven't seen that in so long. But just thank you to everyone that is affiliated, participating, in support and in advocacy of everything that Turnaround is doing. I myself am a survivor. Not something that I share often, but definitely not ashamed of, because as she said, I am a survivor and I'm not a victim. And so this song is something that I wrote to just encourage others who may have been victimized by several things that just can happen in life that can be traumatizing. So again, it's just in continuation of the message of take the night back, take the power back, and reclaim all that is yours. So this song is called Erasure, but based on erasure. She's gracefully beaten and wonderfully scarred several times in a day. Soft cries of I love you heralded by the colors that blacken her face. Thought that shield of protection would come from his hands, but all she feels is hate. Transfixed by the powers that grow in her womb. Well, I'm here to say, ever sure, I can see all the tears, all the thoughts and the fears that transpire. But your beauty remains, though it seems stripped away. You're tired of the fight, but your soul's being guided ever sure. I can see all the tears, all the thoughts and the fears that transpire. But your beauty remains, though it seems stripped away. You're tired of the fight, but your soul's being guided. Your soul's being guided. Your soul's being guided. Guided. Thought she'd flee from the hatred and anguish, find comfort the state would provide. But she found a home empty of love, sought by currency she could supply. Ravished by the father she dreamt she would have, happened night after night. Transfixed by the powers he stripped from her womb. But I'm here to say, ever sure, I can see all the tears, all the thoughts and the fears that transpire. But your beauty remains, though it seems stripped away. You're tired of the fight, but your soul's being guided. Take your power back, 'cause your soul's being guided. Your soul's being guided. y'all to help me with this part. I want y'all to say, let go.
Let go.
Take back.
Take back.
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 Take back your power. Claim it. Take back your power and claim it. Ooh. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Amia Azar. Feel free to follow me on social media platforms to keep up with my journey. Thank you again for all of your effort, the energy, and the work that you do in helping survivors take their power back. I say amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Amia Azar for her beautiful poetry and for gracing us with her beautiful voice. That was amazing. My name is Rachel Klein, and I'm a community educator here at Turnaround. And at this time, I'd like to invite you all to share a moment of silence with me to honor the survivors who are no longer with us. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to invite to the podium the wonderful Mathina James Brightful, our Community Engagement Director.
Y'all are so far away. So very far away. I'm going to come over here. When we look at what happened this evening, and I thought it was really poetic if you heard the cry of the child a few moments ago. Because very often what happens when we talk about the moment of silence is that we lose an opportunity or a moment to hear what can come next after that moment. That for many survivors, what's left and what we need and what we're looking for is that moment where someone hears the cry of the next survivor that's coming. Here's the cry of the next advocate. Here's the cry of the next person who's willing to carry this message forward. And you all showed up today in the cold because it's chilly right now. So when we move this forward, and as you see the flags that are in front of you, and those of you online, if you haven't seen them, we'll make sure you get the photo. They're messages from other survivors and people who love survivors. They're in multiple languages. Many of us here speak multiple languages. The language of our body movements, the language of our smile, the language of our hearts, and the languages that we actually speak. As we close tonight, you're going to hear just a few words in multiple languages from many people in the room. Those of you who have a statement on your cards and an affirmation, if you can come forward. These are the last voices you all are going to hear as we close out tonight's program. We're incredibly grateful for your presence, for your power, for your voices. And so we're going to allow the voices that you hear to send messages out, and we ask that you carry them forward.
I care about you and your experience.
Your flaws don't make you unlovable or deserving of violence.
This must be really tough for you, and I'm so glad you are sharing this with me.
No es tu culpa y nada
dejado de hacer te hace culpable. OK？
这不是你的错，我会在这里支持你。
You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are in control of your own story.
Estoy aquí y ahora porque sé que si yo estuviera en tu lugar, estarías acompañándome en este momento difícil. Tienes todo mi apoyo en este momento complicado.
Thank you and good night.